The Lake Orion Dragons come off a successful road trip and return home tonight to welcome the Warriors of Southfield A&T High School. We have it all for you here on Orion Neighborhood Television. Pregame is underwritten by Malash's Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. The Malash family has been servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s. Give them a call at 248-393-2222. Good evening, everyone. I'm Doug Corliss along with Chris Frisching. The Dragons do return home over a win against Troy Athens last week. Some people are going to say it was against Troy Athens. But you know what? In the red division, a win is a win. You take it as you can get it, and you come home and you play again.
Yeah, you do, and you take that victory and hopefully build some confidence and momentum moving forward into tonight's game. But, you know, last week against Troy Athens, the defense really played well. Forced 3 turnovers, had 3 interceptions. They held Troy Athens to 17 yards rushing the entire game, which for them averaged 0.7 yards per carry. So did a lot of things well defensively. And, you know, and the offense found a rhythm too. They found some consistency. They moved the ball 296 yards on the ground for Lake Orion last week, and they had a number of different contributors there getting those yards for Lake Orion. 6.5 yards a carry from Haggett to having a big carry to Lauer to Frank to Vestrand, and a number of those guys contributed to the rushing totals last weck. But in the second half, they struggled offensively, and what they can't do is afford to allow that second half. A lot of penalties, turnovers, unsportsmanlike conduct plays, just sloppy football. Can't allow that to transition into tonight's game.
Southfield A&T comes in. It's their first visit as Southfield A&T. They started out slow with a classic overtime loss at Davison. Came back and lost to Clarkston, but they've reeled off 2 straight, and they have another talent-laden roster.
Yeah, I mean, there's talent and speed all over. I don't know that they're as fast as West Bloomfield we saw a couple weeks ago, but, you know, they've got kids that they either have committed to or have gotten offers from Mid-American Conference schools. So there's talent all over the place. And you know what? They can score, and they can score fast. They beat Oxford last week, 32-12. They were down 12-8 in that 12-6, in that first half. And they reeled off 4 big plays for touchdowns, 50 yards, 44 yards, 40 yards on the ground for touchdowns, and then they had a 73-yard pass completion for a touchdown. So they can score, and they can score quick. They average just under 36 points a game. They put up 56 points in that overtime loss that you were talking about. So they can certainly score. There's a ton of speed on the field, and Lake Orion's got to contend with that, obviously tonight.
The OAA Red, for now, as of the 22nd of September, Rochester Adams is on top. Last week was a week of upsets. West Bloomfield beating Clarkston, Bloomfield Hills losing. Clarkston still has to play Adams, and Adams still has to play West Bloomfield. The only thing you can say is you wait till it's over and see who's left on top, because this is going to be a dogfight, as we've said before,
right,
all the way up to week 8.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why you play the games. I mean, the preseason projections don't mean anything. The week-to-week predictions, they don't mean anything. That's why you play the game. And you mentioned Clarkston, you mentioned West Bloomfield, you mentioned the Southfield A&T team, you mentioned Adams. But in order for Lake Orion to be part of that story moving forward, they got to win tonight. It's as simple as that.
And that's what Coach Blackstock kind of alluded to after last week's win. Well, you know, we got 1. Now we got to get 2. We get 2, we got to look for 3.
And that's been their objective all week long, obviously. And so there's a lot of things they did last week they can build upon. They got to neutralize. We'll talk more about in our keys of the game. They got to neutralize Southfield's speed. They got to do some things defensively and offensively to help them stay within the game and not allow Southfield to put up the points that they have to this point in time. Looking forward to a nice, tough, physical battle tonight.
It is the autumnal equinox. It is the first day of fall. Southfield A&T Warriors and the Lake Orion Dragons. Stay with us. Pregame has been underwritten by Malash's Palace Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. The Malash family has been serving Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s. Give them a call at 248-393-2222. Just before kickoff, Lake Orion Dragons taking on the Southfield Arts and Technology Warriors. Southfield A&T was created from the merger of Southfield High School and Southfield Lathrop last year in 2016. They are coached by head coach Tim Conley. Last year with a new program, he finished 6-3 in the division, 8-4 overall. Southfield A&T beat Warren Mott and West Bloomfield in the first two rounds of the playoffs, lost to Utica Eisenhower in the regional finals. Talking with Coach Conley before the game, and I just asked him, how has it been year two of the program? Is it what he expected? And he said, yeah, he says, on paper, it looks like it's been seamless. He says there's been some bump in the road, but the kids have handled it really well. He said when you come down to it, the kids didn't have a lot of choice. They were going to merge, so it's up to the kids to accept it and make the best out of it. Lake Orion, as we say, came back from a win at Troy Athens last week, and as we said, Coach Blackstock said, yeah, it was win number one. It was nice, but let's get another one. As you can probably tell by looking at the band and the moms forming up underneath the Go Dragons Pep Club sign, tonight is Pink Out Night. It is the 4th annual where everyone's wearing pink. The Dragons are wearing pink lettered shirts, pink socks. The band has pink tassels. And as the band plays the fight song, the Dragons take the field. We've mentioned before that the Pink Out Night is the brainchild of the son of longtime Dragon coach Don Luby. His son, Don Luby Jr., lost his wife, Kathy Miller Luby, to the effects of cancer. Since then, on Pink Out Night, all the proceeds from materials raised during this night go not for the treatment of the disease, but for the periphery involved with it, be it transportation to and from treatment, someone to stay, on a day where they need someone to stay with them. And it's all the other incidental expenses that are raised throughout the time of cancer treatment. This is the 4th year of it. It has been a rousing success here in Lake Orion. With that, Director of Bands Michael Steele takes the podium and leads the band in our national anthem. Chris, you got your keys to the game for tonight.
Yeah, definitely. I think number one, we talked about at the outset briefly, prevent the big play. This game tonight cannot be a track meet for Lake Orion. It's got to be a defensive battle for Lake Orion to come out on top. We mentioned the big plays that Southfield A&T had versus Oxford, but we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Lake Orion defense has given up 18 plays this season of 20 yards or more, so we've got to watch that tonight. They certainly, that big play capability can really demoralize a team. We saw that really against West Bloomfield a couple weeks ago. They got to force turnovers like they did against Troy Athens last week, and they got to secure and keep the ball for themselves. So prevent the big play, number one. Number two, continue to run the ball effectively. Last week again, 6.5 yards a carry with Frank and Vestran and Manzo and Haggett and Lauer and a number of those guys, and riding the hot hand, finding that good mix of backs to be able to power run game into the perimeter game, ball control, and then good gains on first down. I mean that goes without saying too, but it's those types of things that keeps that high-powered Southfield offense off the field, and which ultimately plays into the favor of Lake Orion.
Parker Blust will kick off for the Dragons. Back deep for Southfield A&T is number 33, Leon Franklin. And looks like number 1, John Darby. Referee blows his whistle. Parker approaches, and we're underway. A low line drive kick dropped by the up man. And that was number 3, Brent Johnson, on the return. He's got it out to about the 25-yard line, where Southfield A&T will take over 1st and 10.
The Warriors are led by their quarterback, John Darby. He's a 5'11", senior, 195. Does a nice job of managing the game well. He's not necessarily much of a thrower, although they have completed some balls. They run the ball about 63% of the time. At least they have to this point in time. So good ground game. They've got backs that can hit the hole hard and fast. And that's what Lake Orion's got to neutralize tonight.
Darby in the pistol. Twins to the left, and the Dragons jump. And they're going to give them 5. Number 17, Saunders Carter, was split out right. He's a 6'1", 180 wide receiver.
Guy right over the ball on the first play of the game, maybe a little anxious. You can't do that. You can't give your opposition a free 5 yards.
So it's 1st and 5. Handoff inside. Number 3, Brent Johnson on the, I'm sorry, that's number 9, Marcus Fuqua on the run. We'll remind you that the first period of action is brought to you by Jets Pizza. Jets Pizza, with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Proud supporters of ONTV since 2009. Fuqua stays in the backfield, Darby in the gun. Twins both sides. Throw out on the left flat, complete to number 2, Matthew Gilbert. He's got a first down over to 35, close to the 39-yard line.
They like to run that little bubble screen, if you will, or that little screen to the slot receiver. They do that pretty well. And then again, they're just trying to get their guys in open space one-on-one against the Lake Orion defenders. And that particular time, Gilbert was able to avoid a contact and gain about 5 more yards for that Southfield A&T first down.
1st and 10, trips to the right. Darby in the pistol. Jump, but didn't break the plane by the Dragons. Handoff inside. Up, quarterback keeps it. Darby on the keeper. He's up to midfield. He's got another first down. Good play fake by Darby.
Yeah, he made a lot of the Lake Orion defense bite and kept that, and there was a lot of green grass out in front of him. Here's a good play action fake. Jordan Lewis comes down, crashes down on the single back, and at that point in time, Darby was able to keep the ball for a first down.
Ball right on the 50, 1st and 10. Darby leads him out. Trips to the left this time. Inside handoff, number 10, Javonte Van Buren on the carry, and he's met behind the line of scrimmage for a loss. Yeah, Kobe Manzo and Hunter Lagerquist on the stop.
Yeah, Manzo comes off the edge. He's the first one to make contact, and then Lagerquist and Vestran's in there. Who else is in there? Sam Kinney were all in there on the stop, and that's the type of defense. That's the attacking defense that Lake Orion's got to have tonight.
Twins each side. And he is dropped. Number 33, Hunter Lagerquist, in on the sack for the Dragons, and he was not blocked by anyone.
No, he got in there so fast that I almost thought he could have taken the handoff himself. I mean, wonderful job. Here you see Lagerquist coming from his second level position. Oh, he gets inside. The left tackle blocks down, and Lagerquist came to the outside of that gap and was able to make a play on Darby for a big sack.
Double wide, double slot for Southfield. 3rd down and 16. Fuqua in the backfield with him. He's going to run with it. Darby, now he pulls up short and throws, and it's dropped. Justin Meeks, number 7, found the sticks and dropped it.
Yeah, but the Lake Orion coaches on the sideline are talking about Darby. He looked like he was going to run a quarterback draw, and he comes up into the pocket, and he ends up throwing the football, but across the line of scrimmage. And fortunately for the Dragons, it wasn't. The ball was not caught, but he was clearly over the line of scrimmage when he threw that ball.
So number 2, Matthew Gilbert on to punt. Number 4, Matt Freeman back deep for the Dragons. High snap, brings it down, head pressure. Not a good kick. Freeman's going to let it go. It's down around the 11-yard line where it'll be downed, and the Dragons will start out 1st and 10. Once again, replays for this game are sponsored by Jets Pizza. Jets Pizza with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Proud sponsors of ONTV since 2009.
Again, last week against Troy Athens, 379 yards of total offense, 298 of those on the ground. One of the things, other than the 2 fumbles that hurt Lake Orion last week, they had 11 penalties. 11 penalties, and Lake Orion's already had 1 defensively. They cannot afford to do that offensively.
Blaze Lauer under center, backs in an I formation behind him. Handoff to the tailback, Dylan Frank breaks it over the 15 out to the 17-yard line.
I was watching film on Southfield and Oxford this week, and what I saw was, I think if Lake Orion can establish that running game between the tackles, I think that's going to benefit Lake Orion. The defensive line for Southfield A&T oftentimes was playing high and allowing that offensive line to get up and underneath and form holes. And so if Lake Orion can stay consistent and get off the football and establish that running game between the tackles, I think they're going to be in good shape.
2nd and 5 for the Dragons. Manzo and Dylan Frank in the backfield. And that was a botched snap. Lauer got it and just fell on it. So that'll bring up 3rd and 8 for the Dragons.
We've said it all year to this time. It's the little things. You got 2nd and 5, and it looked like just the center and quarterback were ready to run that play. It didn't look like anyone else on that offensive line was ready to get off the football and continue to play. So it's the little things that we've seen so far that just can't allow that to happen.
That's one of the things that looked like it might have been going on 3, and he snapped it on 2. So 3rd and 7, they're calling it for the Dragons. 2 wideouts, backs in an offset I. And we have a whistle.
Delay a game.
Dead ball, delay a game against the Dragons.
So you go from a 2nd and 5, all right? You botch a snap, lose 2 yards, go 3rd and 7, and then you have another penalty thereafter to make it 3rd and 12. A young football team who's 1 and 3, you can't afford to do that.
Same formation for the Dragons, and right now, Coach Fisher's going to call a timeout. Try to settle his offense down.
Settle things. You know, here's the other thing, too, we haven't really talked about. It's unseasonably warm tonight. Holy cow.
It is.
You know, we're driving up here from Detroit. It was 92 on my dashboard, and I'm thinking, how are these guys? You know, you saw the Southfield players. They were warming up in their uniforms. They didn't have pads on. Their shoulder pads weren't on. So at this time of year, the first day of fall, that's playing a factor on both sides of the field.
Sure.
No question about it.
2 weeks ago, we were saying, well, summer's come to an end. What a beautiful night we have. Well, 2 weeks later, it was in the low 90s as we came up tonight.
You know, we as football coaches and stuff, we talk about heat acclimatization, getting your body prepared for the heat. You know, you're usually talking about that in the early part of August when two-a-days and season has started. You're usually not talking about it on September 22nd, having to acclimatize your body to the heat.
So 2 wides, backs in the offset eye. Motion coming this way. Lauer rolling, looks, throws over the head of number 10, Drew Van Heck, and the Dragons will have to punt.
Yeah, that's one thing Lauer did a nice job of last week, is rolling out and you know, completed 9 of 14 passes for 2 touchdowns, and he got some backside pressure there, so he really wasn't able to get those shoulders turned as best he could. Did a nice job of running the football, has all year long, and so got to clean up that backside pressure to allow him to attack the line with a little more urgency.
Parker Blust in the end zone. Wind is slightly at his back. And we have another play stoppage. Flag was thrown by the head linesman.
Blust coming in the game averaging 32.5 yards per punt.
Dead ball. Procedure penalty against the Dragons.
I hate to bring it up again, but you know we're less than just over 5 minutes into the game and there's already 3 Lake Orion penalties.
So Parker is now at the back of the end zone. Good snap. Low kick. Picked up on the 42 by number 3, Brent Johnson. And he's dropped right there.
Yeah, Chad Dolan Chad Dolan and Dion Boyce did a nice job of corralling Brent Johnson. He had some room initially. He was a little indecisive, Johnson was, in terms of picking that ball up on the bounce and deciding what he wanted to do with it. If you're a punt returner, you got to hit it and go, especially when you got field position on your plus side of the field.
Ball's marked on the Dragon 42-yard line. Southfield comes out, trips to the left, single wide out in the right. Darby on the handoff, up the middle. Number 9, Marcus Fuqua on the carry. He's over the 40, down to the 35-yard line.
Sebastian Marcoux came off his block and ended up trailing Fuqua and got the backside of his jersey and able to hold him up so the other Dragon defenders could help complete that tackle. But again, they've got weapons. We haven't seen them put it up in the air but one time so far, but they've run the ball fairly effectively.
They come out again, trips to the right, handoff. Darby keeps it. He's down close to a first down before he runs out of bounds.
That's twice now where they've run that play and Darby's kept the ball. Manzo crashes down on the fullback or the single back, and Darby just decides to keep it. He's reading that end there, deciding which way he's going. If the end crashes down on the tailback, single back, Darby's gonna take it and run. He's done that twice effectively.
They're gonna measure for this, and while they bring the chains across the field, we will let you know that this presentation is brought to you by the Lake Orion High School video program, in partnership with Orion Neighborhood Television. Live streams of games will be available all season long at www.nfhsnetwork.com. 50% of all proceeds go back into the award-winning video program here at Lake Orion High School. Orion Neighborhood Television thanks our student crews for their hard work and dedication to bring Dragon sports to the world. So it's 3rd and less than a yard. The ball is just outside the 32-yard line. And this one's going to come back. Fuqua was leaning forward at the snap. And that's going to cost him 5 yards.
You know, that sense of urgency, the sense of wanting to get that play off quick. Sometimes that you get into a situation where you're too over anxious, and obviously you saw that there. So Lake Orion's got to take advantage of that. He's got to take advantage of that opportunity.
As a running back, yeah, you want to get some momentum going, but you know, once you reach that point of no return, gravity's going to take over and you're moving. So it's 3rd and 6 now. The ball's on the 37. Number 33, Leon Franklin, is in the backfield. Darby throws out on the left flat. Complete, first down and more. Down to about the 25. Pass completed, I believe, to number 2, Matt Gilbert.
Yeah, it was a little play action fake, and then they just threw to the uncovered slot receiver in Matthew Gilbert. And look at all that green grass he's got in front of him. There's not a Lake Orion defender until he's almost to the sticks, and he ends up cutting back inside and getting that first down. So the play action fake shouldn't have allowed the safety to come inside so much. But, again, a wide open slot receiver. Pretty easy pitch and catch.
1st and 10 for A&T. Twins to this side. Throw back, same play on the other side. And he's going to have another first down. Ball completed to, I believe, number 17, Saunders Carter. Oh, number 11, Cameron McEvans. Up 17. So 1st and 10. Twins left, single wide out right. Throw again. Completed to number 2, Matt Gilbert. He's inside the 10. And Chris, this is the same sort of formation that West Bloomfield used all night long on us.
You know, and they're going to what works for them. You know, 4 completions they've had thrown to that slot receiver. So until they'd stop, there it is again. They're going to continue to go with it. And we are right next to the the Southfield A&T coaches. You can hear them on the side, on the booth next to us, yelling at their wide receivers, their perimeter blockers, to make sure they're blocking on the perimeter to free up that slot receiver. And there's a missed block by number 11 that allowed Chris Cade to come in and make the play. But they're easier passes to complete. Again, working to utilize your playmakers in open space.
So 1st and goal from the 7. From the 3, I'm sorry. Number 40, Blake Grice Brunson. And they're going to mark him down inside the 1.
Reed, they decided to give that time. Yeah, Brunson, I thought he bounced in after the fact. Okay. Good spot by the officials.
Chad Dolan came in and closed up the hole in a hurry. Carry again by Bryce Brunson, and he didn't get in.
No, Isaac Kinney, Sam Kinney was in on that. Tries to go up and over. Who else was in there? Looked like Marku was in there. Jordan Lewis was in there. No.
So it's 2nd down and goal from inside the 1. And Southfield's going to take a timeout. DVD copies can be purchased by calling ONTV at 248-693-3377 or 248-693-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. DVD copies, 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. So, 1st and goal inside the 1, and Darby gets in for the touchdown.
Wow. It clearly looked like he got in. Let's see from the replay here. Oh, he clearly got in.
He was in.
What are they questioning? What? I don't know. Interesting, because when it's all said and done, it brings up 3rd and inside the 1. And he didn't get it.
He didn't get in this
No,
time.
sir. In fact, it might have been.
There's a flag on the play on the goal line. Dead ball procedure against Southfield.
Wow.
So that's going to back him up 5.
Yep, the right tackle.
Oh, look at Jordan Lewis.
The right tackle, DJ Summerfield, kind of flinched his rear end kind of flinched up in the air, and he got that called for the procedure penalty.
Jordan Lewis just split the A gap, and he was in on Darby, and there's nothing he could do about it. So it's 3rd and goal from the 5. Southfield comes out, twins to the left, single wide out to the right. Fuqua is the lone back. Handoff, number 2, Matt Gilbert.
String it out.
Coming around, trying to get outside. He didn't get in. Got maybe a yard.
Nice drag in pursuit. Sam Kinney ended up making the play, but you could see Gilbert could never quite get the edge. Even though Boyce came inside on that play, Kinney was still pursuing hard to the outside and knocking him out of bounds.
So 4th down and 5 from the 5. 2 minutes left here in the 1st quarter.
They do not have a very good field goal unit, I will tell you that, just based on the games we've seen so far.
Twins right. Darby's going to keep it, and he's in for the touchdown. From 42 yards in 11 plays. offset by by a costly penalty and some really good Dragon defense. And looking at the replay, there was a yank down from behind.
There was, but right where Darby ran that play, there was a nice little void, nice little opening for Darby to sneak on through, and that time Southfield offensive line got to the second level. They got to the Lake Orion linebackers, and it was able to allow them to sneak into the end zone.
Southfield's going to go for 2. They do not have a real proficient kicking game. And we have a flag, dead ball, delay of game. That will back them up 5 more.
Yeah, the second half last week, Lake Orion versus Troy Athens, it was a sloppy first half. We've had a number of penalties to this point in time on both sides of the field. Officials getting their money's worth, huh?
Oh boy.
Coaches want to see, let them play, let them play.
So the ball is on the 7-yard line for the extra point attempt. Darby in the gun, drops back, looks, throws, and the 2-point attempt is good. 1:57 left here in the first quarter. Southfield A&T takes the lead 8-0.
Kobe Manzo almost got backside to get that pressure, and yeah, it's a good call. It's a good call.
Just got it inside the pylon.
You know, and Darby threw that ball where only McEvans could catch the ball, and McEvans knew exactly where to get to and did just that. 8-0, Southfield A&T. Go mobile with ONTV anytime. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube on your mobile devices. Connect with ONTV to see what's happening in our studio, see upcoming events, and watch ONTV programs in high definition on demand. ONTV, working to bring Lake Orion to the world.
So it has not been textbook football by any stretch of the imagination. Both teams have committed numerous penalties.
You know, it's all said and done. That drive by Southfield was set up by the fact that Lake Orion could not move the ball out of their end of the field, and allowed them to work with the short field and drive downfield. So Lake Orion's got to set the stage in terms of set the field, if you will, in terms of special teams. They got to make that a big factor in tonight's game.
Chris Cade and Matt Freeman back deep for the Dragons. Taken inside the 5. Out to the 23-yard line. Kickoff was made by Jerry Pons. And the Dragons will take over 1st and 10 on their mark. They marked it on the 24-yard line, and they'll take over 1st and 10. You notice the Dragon jerseys tonight, instead of the player's name, it is someone either they have known or been related to that has been affected by cancer. Blaze Lauer under center. Handoff inside. Dylan Frank up over the 25, almost to the 30. Head linesman comes in. His feet are right at the 30-yard line.
Nice hard run by Frank following his fullback Trevor Burke, and does a nice job of spinning and keeping those legs churning. Falling forward near the 30-yard line.
So they're calling it 2nd and 4. And we have an official's timeout. might have an equipment issue somewhere. This is an Oakland County crew tonight. I think they just made Trevor Burke throw his wrist coach off. Hard run inside by Kobe Manzo.
Just run a little trap inside, a fullback trap, and Kobe follows his left guard, stumbles forward for that first down.
This is an Oakland County officiating crew. Gus Hughes is the referee. John Adams is the head linesman. Jason Yett is the line judge. Melvin Hurston is the umpire. And Mike Shogun is the back judge. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. I formation in the backfield. Inside handoff. Kobe Manzo again. Let's go down to our sideline reporter. Here's Kevin McCormick.
Guys, you know that for the first 2 games, John Marshall was the starting quarterback, and then he was out for the next 2, and Blaze Lauer took over. The team seems to be responding differently to Blaze. They won one game and were really competitive in the other, and so now you see that Blaze Lauer is the quarterback, starting quarterback tonight. I think he's going to be the quarterback of the future for the Dragons. The team seems to really respond well to what he brings on the field, so we'll see how it pans out tonight.
Nice play. Dylan Frank took the toss from Blaze Lauer, got a first down over midfield. Are they saying he stepped out early?
The play before set up that little option play to Frank, and we've seen Manzo run it, we've seen Frank run it. We're again finding a mix, finding a hot hand, if you will.
1st and 10 from the 45-yard line. Backs in the offset eye. Handoff. Dylan Frank spins, gets more yardage up near midfield, and he's going to be pushed back at the 49-yard line. That'll be the end of the first quarter. We played 1, Southfield A&T 8, and the Lake Orion Dragons nothing. Be sure to tune in to replays of your favorite games right here on ONTV. Tune in Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays at 7 p.m., Saturdays at 1 p.m. for the most current games in our lineup. Games are also replayed throughout the week, so check our program guide on our webpage at OntV.org for replay times that best fit your viewing schedule. Also, visit our YouTube link for games on demand. www.OntV.org. Your first period of action has been brought to you by Jets Pizza. Jets Pizza with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Proud supporters of Orion TV, ONTV, since 2009.
I was driving up here tonight, and I kept saying to myself, I cannot believe it's already week 5 of the high school football season.
It goes quick.
It's unbelievable. We are more than halfway home
through.
tonight.
Yeah.
For the regular season, that is.
So the Dragons have a 2nd and 5 from midfield. Back stay in the eye. Manzo ahead of Dylan Frank. Lauer on the handoff to Dylan Frank. He's got a little hole, breaks a tackle inside the 40, inside the 35, cuts back down to the 30-yard line. Good run by Dylan Frank, weaving his way through traffic.
Yeah, he right about here. He runs over number 8, Anwar Jackson. Does a great job of keeping his feet moving. But I'll give Anwar Jackson credit. He's the one who gets back up and comes in and makes a play on Frank. And heck of a run, heck of a drive by Lake Orion so far.
And the wideouts for Orion did a great job of seal blocking so he could get a few more yards on that. Tyler Vestrand in at tailback now. Lauer. And we have a stoppage of play, and it's going to be delay of game against the Dragons.
That's 2 delay of game penalties tonight for Lake Orion. And in both times, they've happened after key important plays.
And he doesn't
Successful plays, that is.
He doesn't have that far to go to the sideline to get the play from Coach Fisher. That's where, as a quarterback, you also have to keep an eye on the back judge and his signals too. And we have another flag.
Yep. Casey Staranek, the tight end on the right-hand side, he flinched.
So that'll back him up another 5. It is now 1st down and 20. The ball spotted on the Lake Orion 40-yard line.
I know Coach Bell, when I was here, always talked about don't flinch, don't flinch.
Don't flinch.
You don't flinch, and good things can happen. You do flinch, and guess what happens?
If you're a wide receiver and you flinch, you always go in motion. Lauer rolling right, looks, throws, got it complete to Manzo. He got 9 yards of the penalty back, gets it down to the 31-yard line.
Yeah, Manzo coming, the motion goes opposite way. Manzo from his fullback spot, offset fullback spot, pretends like he's blocking, releases out into the flat. Lauer throws a nice ball. Manzo gets about 9 yards to the short side of the field.
So it's 2nd down and 10 from the 30. Van Heck split out wide left. Pierce Burke split right. Manzo again on the carry. He moves the pile for about 4.
That's one thing Southfield does. Nice little run on the dive play to Manzo. But they've got 8 in the box. They're going to keep 8 in the box until Lake Orion can get on the perimeter with Lauer. They're going to keep 8 in the box until they can start finding chunk yardage downfield. And so, but to Lake Orion's credit, they're moving the ball. They're moving the ball in between the tackles.
Backs in the offset eye this time. Pierce Burke comes in motion, gets the ball, trying to get outside, cuts it upfield. Close, I think he's got the 1st down at the 19-yard line. He strung it out, and when he had his hole, cut it upfield.
Yeah, Pierce Burke, that's his first carry of the year, and it's a big one. It's a huge one for Lake Orion. Nice cutback right there to get inside the Southfield A&T cornerback. And a tall, lanky, kid like Pierce, 6'1", 185. He was able to fall forward like a tree in the forest to get that 1st down.
So 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Ball's on the 19. And we have flags this time.
Tell you what, I have. It's been a long time since I've seen 2 quarterbacks that have hard count as well as the 2 quarterbacks tonight have, Lauer and Darby.
They're calling it encroachment against Southfield. So it'll be 1st and 5.
We've had a number of flinchers tonight.
We have. Dylan Frank on the carry. Bottled up, tries to spin away from it, is dropped after no gain. 11th play of the drive.
He's just a kid who just does not want to go down. They try to run the power play, and number 24 for Southfield A&T, Jordan Crawford, is able to come off his block, spin around, hold him up just well enough to get to have Leon Franklin, number 33 for the Warriors, help with the tackle.
So 2nd and 5 from the 14-yard line. Tyler Vestrand in at the running back. Manzo gets the handoff up the middle, and he got maybe a yard. Third down and 4. The ball is spotted on the 13-yard line. Keep watching the back judge. Lauer
got the edge,
left.
got the corner.
Throws, got Manzo inside the 5, touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. And a late flag comes in from the line judge, and he wound up and threw that flag halfway across the field.
Now, boy, it'll be interesting to see, because from here it looked like a clean block. And you're right, Doug. It was a very, very late call, late throw, late flag.
I'll give him credit for arm strength, because a football field's 53 1/3 yards long, and he probably threw that 30 yards. What is that call? I don't know what that call is.
It has to be a legal block, crack back. I've not seen that signal before, I'll tell you that.
I have not seen that signal.
They got it on Sam Kinney, number 7. Yeah. It looked like it. You'll see it here on the play. Lauer does a nice job, play action fake. The end bites. He is able to get the ball out to Manzo, and right about here, bam. Kinney makes a block on number 15, Kieran Coleman, to allow him to get into the end zone.
Looked like a pretty good.
I think that's one of those points of emphasis here. They're trying to eliminate that cutback block, that unnecessary block.
So it's 3rd down and 9. Lauer gonna take off. He's got a 1st down. Inside, touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. Blaze Lauer showing great speed.
That's what he brings to this football team. He brings that awareness, he brings that vision, he brings that perimeter speed, and here you see the speed. Great play action fake, and feels the pressure from the outside, and there's nobody in the middle, and blazes for 18 to the end zone.
You've been waiting all season for that, haven't you?
Absolutely, but he's been doing it all year. Get him out in open space, too. He is a playmaker. Get him out in open space with that football. Good things happen.
So the Dragons are going to go for 2 to tie it up. John Haggett. And Lake Orion's going to take a timeout and talk over what they want to do.
So you take away my touchdown pass, guess what? I'm going to run it in. Back at you, right?
Nothing wrong with that. We would like to take a moment and thank Larry Buss and the crew at Jets Pizza, located at 1091 South Lapeer Road. They've been a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics since 2009. Jets supplies catering for cast and crew. Thank you, Larry, for your continued support. Give them a call at 248-814-7559.
Lauer came into the game tonight, 101 yards on the ground, 4.2 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns. So, again, he adds that dimension from a quarterback standpoint. He's completing 62.5% of his footballs, adds that extra dimension on the ground.
Twins to the left. Dylan Frank, lone back, motion this side. Dylan's leading the way. Cut inside. Did they call it? Yeah, point is good. John Haggett on the carry for the 2-point conversion. 77 yards in 13 plays.
It's good to have John Haggett back. He had a nice big 52-yard run last week against Troy Athens. Here you see he utilizes his speed and get on the edge. There's a nice cutback right about there inside the block of number 4, Matt Freeman, to get into the end zone for the 2-point conversion.
So 7:50 left in the first half. We're tied at 8. Well, it's the old thing that we've always said, Chris, score for a score.
Score for a score in a nice sustained drive. What do we talk about at the outset? We talked about driving the football, nice sustained drive to do what? To keep their offense off the field. And not only a score for a score, but a 2-point conversion for a 2-point conversion. And that's just as big early on in the game. You don't want to play the points game early on where you're having to go to the card and find out if you need to kick the extra point and go for 2. We're even. It's as if we are 0-0 right now.
Parker Blust has it teed up on the 40. Referee Gus Hughes blows his whistle. Parker approaches. End over end kick into the end zone and out. Southfield will start off 1st and 10 at their 20-yard line. ONTV is getting ready to launch our brand new internet radio station. You can create your own podcast or radio show or sign up to become a DJ. For more information on the radio station, give ONTV a call at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. Handoff off the left side. Number 33, if I can find my right, Leon Franklin. I have a massive paperwork.
Yeah,
up here.
Leon just follows his pulling guard, DJ Summerfield, to the outside, and 9 yards into the secondary, 8 yards into the secondary, Russell Hastings makes a play.
Handoff again off the right side. Number 33, Leon Franklin again. He's got a first down. Ball will be marked on the 35-yard line. Just over 7 minutes left in the second quarter. Game's tied at 8. Handoff up the middle. Franklin again on the carry. He's coming out for a breather. Marcus Fuqua checks back in. Got a gain of about 3. It'll be 2nd and 7. They come out twins left, single wide out right. Handoff to Fuqua, trying to find a seam. He's just over the 40, and Sam Kinney trips him up.
Trips him up. He's made the last couple tackles here, Sam Kinney. He's not touched. He has not been touched, and does a nice job of attacking downhill and tackling Fuqua to bring up 3rd and 3. They've run that play twice this drive.
Single back in the backfield. Darby on the handoff. Fuqua off the middle. First down over midfield down to the Lake Orion 49.
Yeah, Fuqua got hit that ball, 6'1", 200 pounds, good sized back. And they had a nice hole there for Fuqua to get through, to get past midfield.
Chris Cade on the tackle for the Dragons. Darby in the pistol, looking to throw, gonna take off and run. He's out of bounds around the 40-yard line.
You know, Darby's got that sneaky speed. You know, number 33, Lake Orion, Hunter Lagerquist, came down way inside and was not able to contain, and that's where Darby's reading that. Not on that play, he was flushed out and felt the pressure inside. He was able to roll outside. That's one thing Lake Orion's got to do a better job of, containing that outside, or help having an alley player be there to clean that up. Right, Darby's been able to run the ball well this first half.
Taking a moment to reset the chains. It's first down from the 39-yard line. Darby looking, going deep, got a receiver open, and he's in for the touchdown. Number 7, Justin Meeks, got behind the coverage and was wide open.
Yeah, he came off very clean, and Darby's looking at him the whole entire way, and there was a mix-up in the back end there between, it looked like Dolan and number 3, Marcus Brown, and was all said and done, Meeks just ran by and took it into the end zone for 6. As we talk about the big play, got to stop the big play. Got to stop the big play.
80 yards in 7 plays for the Southfield touchdown. They're going to go for 2 again.
You know, the first part of this game, Southfield through the air has kind of nickel and dime you, thrown that little slot route, a little quick screen or quick hitch, if you will, to the slot receiver, and they've completed that. You know what? It's plays like that that sets up the big play oftentimes that you just saw there.
Darby in the gun. Number 40, Blake Grice Brunson, in for the 2-point conversion. 5:07 left here in the first half. Southfield A&T 16, Lake Orion 8. During this sports season, ONTV will be covering a large variety of games. Our sports coverage will include varsity volleyball, soccer, football, and swimming. Selected games will be streamed live on the nfhsnetwork.com and will be replayed on our channel Comcast 10 and AT&T 99. Visit Orion ONTV for our program schedule. Our next broadcast will be October 6th. It's the annual ONTV Roadshow as we go to Clarkston, or to go to Oxford for the battle for the 00 trophy.
Speaking of the 00 trophy, Oxford's got Clarkston tonight.
Bobbled and picked up. Number 24, Isaac Kinney on the return. It was one of those bouncing balls, and when you pick it up, it's hard to get the handle on it initially on a spinning ball.
Yeah, that's happened the last 2 times after Southfield scored. A bouncing ball. They've got to move the kick return team up a little bit so they can work on getting a better return and not allow the Southfield coverage team to get downfield and make a play. Let's take advantage of a shorter field.
From what I've seen out of their kicking game, they're not going to put the ball in the end zone. So Blaze Lauer leads them out. Van Heck and Burke both split left. Manzo and Dylan Frank in the I formation behind Lauer. And we have another delay against Lake Orion.
Tell you what, these delay of games, not that any penalty comes at opportune times, but these delays of games, you're coming out of a change of possession after a score. You just can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't start your drives 1st and 15.
Especially on the first play of the series. Lauer trying to cut it outside, looking for blockers. He's close to the, was that Dylan Frank?
It is.
It was. It was a delayed handoff to him.
You know, Lauer was going to take as much as he could get downfield, and the mesh point between Lauer and Frank was probably a little tighter than you wanted it. And I think Dylan, when that ball was snapped, was kind of surprised to get it, but got it and got 14 of the 15 back.
2nd and 1 for the Dragons. Dylan Frank again breaks it outside. He's got the first down over the 30-yard line, out to near the 33. And we have a Dragon down, and it looks like Cody Manzo.
Yeah, he looks like his left ankle got rolled up on, and he got it caught underneath a Southfield defender, and that's why the training staff, medical staff, is out to see him. The officials are sending each of the teams to the sideline so they can get some water again on this hot and humid.
Oh boy, you've got to keep
September
hydrated
night.
tonight.
You know, a lot of times in these hot nights, the officials will actually take a official's time out to allow the kids to go to the sideline to get some water.
And we used to tell our water boys, you want to make a good friend out there. Make sure when you take water out, you take a bottle out to the officials. While there's an injury timeout, we're going to take a break. Our score is Southfield A&T 16, Lake Orion 8. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
You'd do anything to take care of that spot on your lawn. So why not take care of that spot on your skin? If you're a man over 50, you're in the group most likely to develop skin cancer, including melanoma, the cancer that kills 1 person every hour. Check your skin for suspicious or changing spots. Go to spotskincancer.org to find out what to look for. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
Back. Kobe Manzo being assisted off the field. Let's throw it down to our sideline reporter. Here's Kevin McCormick. Okay. Kevin didn't get the word we're throwing it down to him. We'll come back to him in a little bit. Dragons have a 1st and 10 on their own 33. Dylan Frank on the handoff. Close to the line of scrimmage. They're calling it no gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Trevor Burke takes over at the fullback position. They're calling it 2nd and 9. Toss back. Vestrand over midfield, down near the 40. Tyler Vestrand. And we have a flag back near the 38-yard line.
God, you hate to see a nice hard run. Vestrand's first of the night. You hate to see a good hard run brought back. But that too maybe is one of the reasons he sprung for a big gain.
We'll catch the sign from referee Gus Hughes. And they're waving the flag off.
Wow.
The play will stand.
Vestrand gets the ball. He kind of bobbles it a little bit and sees a cutback right there. All right. And the biggest plays in football happen behind an over-pursued linebacker. That's what Vestrand did that time. He cut back against the over-pursued linebackers and gets in deep in, not deep, but 10 yards into Southfield territory.
Cardia Harris grabbed a hold of the back of his jersey and just went for a ride. Now we have a stoppage in play, and Lake Orion is calling timeout. That's their third and last timeout of the half.
ONTV is holding our annual film festival coming up in October. The kickoff event is Friday, October 13th. Hope you're not superstitious, right? After the films have been judged, they will premiere at Oxford 7 Movie Theater. For more information about ONTV's Film Fest, call us at 248-693-3377 or 248-693-1060.
And that was another typo. It's actually 393.
393-1060.
Have to talk to our copy editors.
It's not my eyes?
No.
Okay.
No,
All
it
right.
wasn't your eyes. So 1st and 10 for the Dragons from the Warrior 41-yard line. 3:05 left in the second quarter. Tyler Vestrand is in at the tailback position.
He had
Trevor Burke playing in at fullback.
Vestrand led Lake Orion last week, 10 carries, 68 yards.
Toss back, Vestrand around the corner. He's hemmed in. Gets a couple more yards. And they're going to call him down near the 39-yard line. Bring up a second. And they're calling it 9.
Same play they ran, tried to run it to the wide side of the field, and Southfield does a better job this time. Number 14, Kevin Smitherman, along with a host of other Warriors, in on the stop.
Lauer directing traffic behind him. Rolling left, looking, throwing, complete down at the 20-yard line.
Storonik, the tight end.
Casey Storonik just kind of gets out there and finds some open territory.
Lauer really had to get his shoulders turned to be able to throw that back. Storonik's coming across on a drag route and really get his shoulders turned and squared up so Storonik could catch that ball for a big first down. Nice throw by Blaze.
1st and 10 from the 19. Twin receivers. Lauer rolls right, looks, same play the other way. Storonik makes the catch, but for minimal gain.
That was actually Burt coming out of the backfield. Yep.
It was Burt.
Burt coming out of the backfield, and nice open field tackle by number 9, Marcus Fuqua.
So it's 2nd down and 11. Ball's marked on the 20. Van Heck split wide left. Looks, throws, incomplete in the end zone, intended for Drew Van Heck. And we have a flag down.
Lauer steps back in the pocket and hit right to the face.
Yeah, he took a shot.
Helmet to helmet shot, and they're definitely going to call that all that, it's obviously in the best interest of the kids that we're protecting the kids.
Personal foul, roughing the passer.
There's no place in this game for any helmet to helmet contact. That's what you saw there.
So the ball's going to be marked on the 10.
It was all said and done. It was a good ball. It was a good ball. It was, again, a ball that only Van Heck could catch. It was a high ball, but it hit Drew's hands. But we'll take the penalty.
Rolling right, looking, throwing. Incomplete in the end zone. Intended again for Casey Staranek.
Yeah, I think Blaze would like to have that one back. Staranek was wide open in the end zone. He threw it kind of behind him, and made a tough effort for Staranek. He had to work, as he's running to his left, he had to work on catching it on his back right hip. It's a tough ball to catch, especially when you're trying to keep one foot in bounds. And I think Blaze, if he looks back at it, he'll say, I wish I had that one back.
So it's 2nd down and actually goal from the 10. They've dropped the stakes, so Lauer looking, rolling, hit, and dropped.
We got a flag from the far side of the field that came in towards the tail end. I don't know that it really had any effect on the play. Officials are looking to get a lot of camera time tonight on ONTV.
Thrown by the head linesman. Face mask against Southfield. 5-yard face mask against Southfield. So that moves it to the 7. And now we're going to have a stoppage of play for an officials conference. I think it's moreover of where the ball should be marked. I think it's all set. Ball's marked on the 8-yard line. Under a minute to go in the first half. Van Heck in motion. Lauer looks, rolls, throws. Touchdown, Lake Orion Dragons. Number 32, Tyler Vestran. And give Blaze Lauer some credit. He bought time with his feet. And also, who was it? Right there is a block that really took out 2 guys and just stretches it over the goal line.
They're running that bootleg play really, really well because, again, those ends are crashing down inside on the play action fake, which allows Blaze to get out on the perimeter and work his magic with his feet and buy some time and find guys open. They found Manzo, he's found Staranek, he's found a number of guys. At that time, Vestran for the touchdown.
Lake Orion going for 2.
Got it.
Cut inside. Good.
Drew
Van Heck.
Yes.
In for the 2-point conversion. The Dragons claw their way back. 43.7 seconds left here in the second quarter. We're tied at 16.
Here, all I got to say is Drew Van, heck of a job following his blocker into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. You know, Vestrand scores a touchdown, and then Vestrand leads Van Heck into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. This is a Lake Orion team that this has been fun to watch.
This has been a fun game to watch tonight.
Guess what? Their 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions. Guess how they started? I mean, they started way back on deep in their own territory. Again, good, long, sustained drives.
Yep. The Dragons have been getting the first downs when they need them. And each team has had only one possession here in the second quarter. Parker Bluff puts a foot into it. End over end kick into and out of the end zone. Southfield will take over 1st and 10 on their own 20-yard line.
We talked at the outset, talking about Lake Orion establishing some consistency on offense, which was what they struggled at the first 3 games of the season. They found that consistency last week against Troy Athens. They've moved the ball well, obviously put 16 points up on the board this half. What you can't do is play a second half like you did last week against Troy Athens.
Yep.
Got to continue to grind the football, move the football, secure the football in the second half. And actually, Lake Orion gets the ball to start the second half. Is that correct?
They do.
Yes.
That is correct. John Darby continues at quarterback. He's in the pistol. Inside handoff, cut up field ball's loose. Dragons say they have it.
I saw the beanbag get thrown.
Let's see. All the guys dressed in green are pointing that they have it.
Second down.
Second down. Number 54, DJ Somerville, fell on it.
Oh, yeah. Yes, they did. Yep.
So it's 1st and 10 for Southfield. 25 seconds left here in the first half. Darby takes a snap, drops back, steps up, and he's down after a minimal gain, maybe a half a yard. And they're going to be content to let the clock run out. That's the end of the second quarter. We've reached halftime. The Southfield A&T Warriors 16 and the Lake Orion Dragons 16. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television.
Behind the wheel in that 43 car.
We all have a role to play here at Richard Petty Motorsports. We respect each other, work hard, and that helped us get the big win in Daytona. My partners in the U.S. Air Force also know that it takes a team to make each mission a success. Your coworkers, family, and friends are your team. Treat them with respect, and together you can accomplish great things. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
We've reached halftime. Lake Orion and Southfield A&T tied at 16. Halftime is sponsored by Malash's Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, located at 3800 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Malash's Palace, has been servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the field. This evening we honor 6 Lake Orion High School alumni who are being recognized for achieving the highest levels of excellence in their chosen career paths after graduating from LOHS. These 6 people are our inaugural induction class at the Lake Orion High School Wall of Excellence. The next time you visit the high school, you'll see the new Wall of Excellence just past the trophy cases as you enter through the main entrance and go into the central grounds. And now let's meet this year's Wall of Excellence honorees. First, 3 of our inductees are unable to be here tonight, but we still want to recognize them. Our first honoree graduated from Lake Orion in 1983. He has flown on 2 space shuttle missions and is scheduled to return to space next year as commander of the International Space Station during Expedition 56. Congratulations to Dr. Andrew Feistel. Our next honoree graduated from LOHS in 1976. He was named CEO of General Motors in 2009. Chief Executive Officer of Sun Growth Energy of Illinois. Congratulations to Mr. Fritz Henderson. excelled in the band program and graduated third in his class. As a senior, he won the Michigan Youth Arts Festival solo competition and then attended the Juilliard School and the Eastman School of Music. He was a member of the Rochester Philharmonic Orchestra and the New World Symphony. He has played with leading national and international orchestras, including the Metropolitan Opera Orchestra, the St. Paul Chamber Orchestra, the Verbier Festival Orchestra in Switzerland, and the National Art Center Orchestra in Canada. And Mr. Upton is currently the principal oboist of the Florida Orchestra. Here to accept John Upton's induction award are his parents, TJ and Patricia. Congratulations, John Upton. Next, Dr. Ronald Tripp graduated from LOHS in 1971. As a student, he was a multi-sport student athlete in wrestling, track, cross-country, and football, and he held records in the 880 yard, cross-country, and mile relay. He received the Connor Award as the University of Oklahoma's most outstanding athlete. He became a national and Pan-American judo champion. In 1994, he won the Sambo World Championship. He was a member of the U.S. Olympic Committee and judo team leader at the 2004 Olympics. Dr. Tripp also served as president of USA Judo. Dr. Tripp is now a chiropractor, and in 2010 he was given the R Division Award, which is the nation's highest honor in his profession. Welcome to the Wall of Excellence, Dr. Ronald Tripp. Our last inductee tonight is the class of 1977's Daniel Choike. He attended Olivet College, where he took part in football and wrestling, and earned his MBA at National University in California. He then joined the Marine Corps and achieved the rank of colonel. That's the highest rank known achieved by LOHS graduates. Colonel Choike's last military assignment was as commander of the Marine Corps base at Quantico, Virginia. He then transitioned into the civilian workforce as an executive manager in the defense contractor industry in support of the Department of Defense. We congratulate retired Colonel Daniel Choike. Stores and Country Elementary for helping make the Wall of Excellence possible. Congratulations to all of our inaugural inductees to the Lake Orion High School Wall of Excellence. The accomplishments of these 6 dragons have made Lake Orion High School proud, and they will serve as inspirations to the students of today and for generations to come. Ladies and gentlemen, the Wall of Excellence class of 2017. Now welcome back to the field the 2017 Dragon Marching Band as they start their halftime show, Decades.
Halftime is sponsored by Malash's Palace, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, located at 3800 South Lapeer Road in Lake Orion. Malash's Palace has been servicing Lake Orion's automotive needs since the 1960s. We're at halftime, tied up at 16. The Lake Orion Marching Band is on the field. We'll be right back.
Vision loss is not something that you feel until it happens.
Most people lose their vision from diseases like macular degeneration and glaucoma, not at birth.
3 million Americans have glaucoma, and half don't even know it.
11 million people in the United States have macular degeneration.
So many eye disorders can be treated if caught early.
Make a plan today to get your eyes checked.
Visit brightfocus.org to learn more.
It's halftime. Lake Orion Dragons and the Southfield A&T Warriors are tied at 16. Chris, you got halftime stats, and they're really kind of surprising.
Yeah, Southfield started the scoring at 1:57 to go in the first quarter, excuse me. A 5-yard run by quarterback John Darby. 2-point conversion was good, put Southfield up 8-0. Lake Orion came back. Blaze Lauer, 18-yard run for a touchdown. 2-point conversion run by John Haggett, make it 8-8. That score was at 7:50 in the second quarter. Southfield came back, and 5:07 left in the second quarter. A touchdown pass from 39 yards. Darby to Meeks for 39. 2-point conversion for them was good to make it 16-8. Lake Orion scored with 43 seconds to go in the second quarter. A Blaze Lauer to Tyler Vestran touchdown for 8 yards. That was good. 2-point conversion run by Drew Van Heck was good. It's 16-16 at half. Total offense, Southfield A&T 158 yards total offense. Lake Orion 158 yards total offense.
Amazing.
26 plays to 25 plays. Rushing, Lake Orion 121 yards on the ground to Southfield's 78, excuse me. Both sides quite a few penalties. 6 for 40 yards for Southfield A&T. Lake Orion 7 for 35. No turnovers either side in the first half of the game. Individual statistics, Blaze Lauer is 4 of 6 for 37 yards and a touchdown. Dylan Frank leads Lake Orion in rushing, 8 carries, 60 yards, averaging 7.5 a game. For Southfield passing, John Darby is 6 of 7 for 80 yards and a touchdown. And leading them on the ground is Leon Franklin. He has 4 carries for 29 yards. So, again, all in all, obviously the score says it's tied. If you look at the stats, pretty darn close and pretty well even. And that only, I would hope, begs for a similar second half.
Coming up in the second half, how much do you think the warm weather, we stepped outside the booth at halftime, and there's a little breeze down there, although the flag is hanging limp down in the northeast end zone. What's the heat going to do to these players in the second half? Will it come down to a war of attrition?
Yeah, a lot of times it does in these types of games, especially when everything's on the line. It's a tight battle. You're not doing a lot of substitution. Southfield runs a no-huddle offense, so defensively for Lake Orion, it's very difficult to get substitute and role personnel, different personnel in, because you never know when they can snap the ball. They're getting the play call from the sideline, Southfield A&T is. So that certainly poses a problem, and it can wear individuals down. On the flip side, because Lake Orion has been doing such a nice job of ball controlling their offense, it can have a major effect on Southfield's defense as well. So each team's got to play with it. They got to deal with it, and hopefully they've gotten their kids to this point in time enough condition to be able to handle the elements.
Well, we've talked about it over the years that if you're going to have, you're going to have a warm game on Friday night, you better be hydrating starting on about Tuesday or Wednesday.
Absolutely, both before, during, and after practice.
Yeah. So our third quarter of action is going to be underwritten by Classic Lanes, your home for family fun and entertainment in Rochester Hills. Their 32-lane facility offers state-of-the-art bowling equipment for both league and recreational bowlers. Check them out at myclassiclanes.com. Scoreboard for the second half is underwritten by Lakes Community Credit Union. The not-for-profit institution has been providing financial services to the Oakland County area since 1937. Give them a call at 248-814-4003 or stop in at their location at 350 North Park Boulevard in Lake Orion. Once again, replays for this game are underwritten by Jet's Pizza. Jet's Pizza with 2 convenient locations in the Orion area. Proud supporters of ONTV since 2009. We have all our promos written. We're ready for football for the second half. Deep for the Dragons. They put back number 1, John Haggett, back to return kicks, along with number 4, Matt Freeman. And we're underway in the second half. Low kick taken by Haggett at the 20, and he's dropped immediately by number 24, Jordan Crawford. So Dragons take over 1st and 10 at their own 21.
You know darn well, even in those locker rooms over at the Cirque building, how warm it had to have been in those locker rooms.
Oh, that's like a sauna over there. So Blazelauer leads them out. Number 47, Trevor Burke, is the up back. Dylan Frank is the tailback. One wide receiver split to the right. Watch him run. Dylan Frank on the carry into Southfield territory near the 40-yard line. Boy, he got a seam and turned on the Jets.
He did. Dylan Frank's good at running what way? That way, north to the end zone. And he did find that seam off tackle and did a great job of getting it across into Southfield territory. Great start to the second half.
Ball's marked on the 45. 1st and 10 for the Dragons. Burke and Frank in the backfield. Dylan Frank again up the middle, over the 40, down to the 39. It'll be 2nd down and 4 for the Dragons.
Ball control, tempo, and Dylan's not being touched until he's 3-4 yards downfield, and then you got to be in perfect position to make a tackle on a guy like Dylan Frank.
2nd and 4, backs in the eye. Frank again, he's got a 1st down. They're marking it right on the 35-yard line.
Double team in number 94 ends up coming off and the double team and making the play, Dwayne Harris, but awful close to the Lake Orion 1st down.
Now the Southfield coaches are out. Do we have an injury?
Yeah,
94.
He was the one being double teamed, Harris was. And like I said, came off and got a hand on the play. Ended up making the tackle on Frank. He's gimping off, looks like his right ankle.
Dwayne Harris, 6'1", 245-pound defensive lineman. It is a first down for the Dragons. I'm Doug Corliss, along with Chris Frisching. In the third quarter, game is tied 16 apiece between the Dragons and the Southfield A&T Warriors. Tyler Vestrand checks in at the tailback position. And we're getting more whistles. And timeout by Southfield A&T.
Well, obviously they see something defensive that they don't like. And, Coach Conley thought it was important enough to make that timeout early, kind of settle his guys down. Coming out of the halftime, a 20-minute halftime is a long halftime, but Lake Orion is made some big chunk plays right now, and I think he's just trying to settle his guys down and say, you know what, we got this, guys. We just got to start playing smarter football. Lake Orion's coming off the ball and doing a nice job opening up some holes for Frank. Frank's running hard. He always runs hard, but he's able to hit those openings and go. And like I said earlier, you've got to have a defender in a perfect position to make a play. Otherwise, you need 2, 3, 4 guys on him to bring Dylan Frank down.
Yeah. Let's go down to our sideline reporter. Here's Kevin McCormick. Kev?
Joe, cue me. Hey, yeah, guys, quick injury report. Kobe Manzo is out. He's on crutches right now with ice on his ankle. He got twisted when he was running earlier. He thinks he'd like to try to get back in the game, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to. It remains to be seen. So we'll give you an update if he tapes up and goes back in.
Tyler Vestrand dropped for a 2-yard loss. It'll bring up 2nd and 12.
Yeah, Javante Van Buren came in from his linebacker spot to make the play of Vestrand, tackle of Vestrand in the backfield.
Single wide out. Van Heck split wide to the right. 2 tight ends in the game for the Dragons. Number 47, Trevor Burke on the run, and he plowed over some people.
Yeah, he runs right over number 3, Brent Johnson, right about here. And Johnson lowers his head and unfortunately lowers his head. And that Burke lowered him and was able to get a couple extra yards.
So 2nd down and 7 for the Dragons. Now, as a running back, there's no better feeling than taking a guy you're trying to tackle you and putting him on his back. Toss to Frank, sweeping right. Gets down near the 30. While listening to the Southfield coaches be next to us, I believe they're bringing up some shortcomings in what Southfield's doing on defense.
Hey, they made a good play there. Gain of 1. If I'm a defense, I'm taking that.
Casey Storonik checks out for the Dragons. It's 4th down and 6. And it's kind of that, we've talked about it before, that no man's land where it's too close to punt and too far away to try a field goal. Lauer rolling left, looking, squares up, throws to the end zone, overthrows number 11, Pierce Burke. So Southfield A&T will take over on downs. 8:14 left here in the third. Ball will be marked on, let's call it the 31-yard line. Try to set the Dragon defense for you in a moment. Single back in the backfield, twins right, single wide out left. Pass out on the side. Number 17, Saunders Carter on the catch.
And they went
got a gain of about 7.
And they went back to the play scheme that was successful for them in the early part of the first half. They got away from it in that second half, really mostly because Lake Orion had the ball so long in that second quarter.
2nd and 3, ball's marked on the 38. Inside handoff. Fuqua brought down for no gain. Tyler Vestrand was in there.
Lagerquist was in there as well, yes. Nice job, backside penetration, backside pursuit, and well done tracking that ball carrier down.
So 3rd down and 3. Darby back to pass, looking, throws, caught by number 17, Saunders Carter. He got behind the secondary, and there are no flags.
Yep, I mean, Darby does a nice job of avoiding pressure, stepping up in the pocket, and focusing all the way downfield to Saunders Carter. And you're right, he just got on top of number 15, Chris Cade, and kind of glides into the end zone for a touchdown.
Sebastian Marcoux came off the field for the Dragons a little hobbled. They're going to look at him. I think he's just cramping up. Trainer's trying to stretch him out on the sideline. "62-yard touchdown pass. Southfield to go for 2. Twins left, single wide out right, single back in the backfield. Darby takes the handoff, heads up the middle, and he's in for the 2-point conversion. 7:31 left here in the third. Southfield A&T 24, Lake Orion 16.
Ball flow going to the right, and Darby just follows his 2 pulling linemen into the end zone for the 2-point conversion. So, you know, Darby has been a very difficult individual to be able to contain tonight, and he's done a nice job of moving their football team, and you know, surprisingly, these 2 big plays, a 39-yard touchdown pass, a 68-yard touchdown pass, and I shouldn't say surprisingly, because I guess I expected to see it on the ground, but they performed very well through the air. He was 7 of 8 in that first half and completed 2 footballs on that drive. He's you know, now 9 of 10 this game, so obviously very efficient in what he's been doing for the Warriors.
As you said, they do that little dink and dunk and the little flare passes, and they just kind of lull you into that sense that that's where they're going, and then they nail one down the middle for a touchdown.
You knew coming into the game that they were a big play threat. I mean, they've shown it all 4 games, you know, maybe with the exception of the game against Clarkston where they lost 17-7, but they've shown it every single game other than that. And again, those are the 2. That's why the Warriors are on top by 8 here in the third.
Haggett and Freeman back deep for the Dragons. Short kick comes down to one of the up men. That's number 24, Isaac Kenny. He brings it out near the 40. It'll be Dragons football, 1st and 10. And they're going to mark it on the 37.
Decent field position for Lake Orion, you know, start a drive. And as you look into the stands and see all the green and the pink, again, we just know it's a great tradition here on a Friday night in Lake Orion.
It is. And the whole community turns out for this pink out night. Tyler Vestrand checks in at the up back. Dylan Frank is the tailback. Single wide out. Dylan Frank up the middle. Gets maybe 2. I think they're going to give him 3. call him down on the 40. It'll be 2nd and 7.
Dillon's really been a workhorse here this quarter. And he's just leading his fullback, Vestran. Vestran's got to get up the middle. He can't wait and look to find somebody to block. If he slows himself down, he's slowing Dylan Frank down. And Tyler's just got to hit the hole as a fullback, as a lead blocker like he does when he's running the football.
So 2nd and 7, back split to an offset I. Blaze redirects Vestran to the other side. Dylan Frank again up the middle, over the 40, near the 45. They're going to mark him down on about the 43. It'll be 3rd down.
Oh yeah, he
4.
It's interesting spot. They mark him at the 43. He clearly fell down at the 45, almost 45 and a half. So, interesting spot there.
Scoreboard says there, they changed it, 3rd and 4. Interesting. Dylan is not going to make it. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. So it'll be 4th down and 4. They're going to give him no gain. And the Dragons are going to punt.
You never want to see a 3 and out to start your first drive of the second half.
Nice kick. Coming down to the 18-yard line.
Blocking the back.
Taken number 3, Brent Johnson on the return.
We got a hold back, or sorry, not hold, but a flag back at the 49-yard line of Lake Orion.
We'll check the flag out. 5:13 left here in the 3rd. Dragon defense is on the field, holding against Southfield. So that'll be 10 yards from the spot. That'll move them back inside the 15 to the 13-yard line, where Southfield will take over 1st and 10.
Contain John Darby.
He has been the difference here.
No question.
Yeah. So Darby leads them out. Stays in a pistol formation. Twins left, single wide out right. Inside handoff. That's Fuqua. He's out to the 35-yard line of Southfield. It's a load to bring down.
The way he hit that hole, 6'1", 200 pounds. I mean, with the way he hit that hole right there, it was a nice job following his left guard, number 58 of the Warriors, James Wadsworth. And he's bringing a couple Dragon defenders with him.
Fuqua again up the middle, and he's hit and dropped at the 38-yard line after a gain of 3.
Sam Kinney, and that's a good battle right there. Sam Kinney and Fuqua right here. Watch the contact. And with Vestran, Vestran does a nice job of staying low, staying at that pad level with the shoulder pad, that thigh level, and did a nice job of bringing Fuqua down right there.
So 2nd and 7. Again, Twins left, single wide out right, Fuqua, lone back in the backfield. Now and the Dragons jump. Isaac Kinney, and he didn't really jump, he just walked over the line of scrimmage.
can't do that? I guess you could if you don't get caught, but he got caught that time.
It's only a penalty if a flag's thrown.
Right.
So that makes it 2nd and 2. 4 minutes left here in the third.
It's Lake Orion's 8th penalty of the game.
Darby throws left, got a receiver, got a first down. Saunders Carter on the reception, and that'll be 1st and 10 at the 47. And it's the same thing as we talked about before. They just throw those little passes out on the flat as we do have a flag down. Dead ball, personal foul against Lake Orion. So that'll bring them up another 15 yards.
At the end of the play. Right there.
I think, yeah, they're going to call him on a late hit.
Yep, and he threw it right away.
So that takes it down to the 36-yard line where it's 1st and 10. Darby looks, throws deep, overthrows number 11, Cameron McEvans.
Boy, the concept of the play call was a good play call. Nice play action fake. There was a pump fake to the, there's a play action fake. I'm sorry, the pump fake to the slot receiver, and then he tries to go deep, and certainly McEvans was open, got on top of Marcus Brown, but the ball just a little bit overthrown for his John Darby's 2nd incompletion of the whole night.
2nd down and 10 from the 36. Inside handoff. Number 33, Leon Franklin, down to the 30. It's going to make it 3rd and 7.
And you're starting
or 3rd and 3.
You're starting to see this, the Lake Orion substitution patterns take place. They're trying to get off the field and get guys in there ready to get set. It's tough to do that.
And they jumped.
It's tough to do that with this no-huddle offense. Again, like we said, when it gets hotter and you start wearing down, you got to get guys in there. And they got guys in there late, but they flinched. And what did we say in the first half? Can't flinch.
You can't flinch.
And Lake Orion's had 4 penalties on this drive alone.
You know, that is something that is preached upon.
Excuse me, three, excuse me.
Offsides against the Dragons. And that's something that's preached upon since 2-a-days in the summer. So it'll be 1st and 10 from the 25. Just over 3 minutes left here in the third. Darby on the carry around left side, jammed up, and another flag. We'll check out this one. There looks like the preliminary sign is holding.
I call the, I believe they're going to call the tight end or the tackle on the left side of the field. You know what? Number 18 right there is holding. Or they got him right there, maybe.
Number 54.
Yep, I'm sorry. Yep, they got it right there. Good call.
So that'll back them up 10 from the previous spot. It'll be 1st down and 16 from the 31. That's not right. They haven't. Yeah, that's right, from the 31. And we have an official's timeout.
It's 80+ degrees out there, and the head official is wearing gloves.
Well, they're calling for the trainer. The trainer's coming out. The line judge is coming in. Let's see what we have. I think it was just to check on one of the officials. And you know, it's hot for them too.
Sure it is. Sure it is. Once again, ONTV is holding our annual film festival coming up in October. The kickoff event is Friday, October 13th, and then after all films have been judged, they'll premiere at the Oxford 7 movie theater. For more information on Owens Film Fest, call us at 248-693-3377.
So 1st and 16, handoff to Fuqua. He's dropped after a gain of about 2. It'll bring up 3rd and long.
Sam Kinney there, again, not touched. And guess what? Sam Kinney's going to make the play if he's not touched.
Great tackle. So it's 2nd and 14. 2 minutes left here in the 3rd. Darby in the gun. Takes it up the middle, and he's dropped. Well short of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and 10 from the 26.
Motion coming right to left, and they fake the cross-buck type action in the backfield, and Darby ends up keeping the ball and trying to slither his way near the back to the original line of scrimmage.
We can set the Dragon defense. Josh Wrench is in at one linebacker. John Kennedy in at the nose. Darby gonna run with it. Trying to turn the corner. He does. He's got it down to the 14-yard line. He may be they're calling him out at the 16. If it's the 16, he's short. It's 4th and 1.
Yeah, that's one of the things Darby does well. He's able to feel pressure, see pressure, and does a nice job of. And he knew where the sticks were. He just wasn't quite able to get there. He got there that time.
Yeah, he dives off right tackle and gets the 1st down.
He doesn't panic back there. He does a nice job of keeping his feet active, keeping his eyes downfield to see, where holes are, or see where open wide receivers are. And, coming into, he started 5 games last year at quarterback for the Warriors. Last year he had 15 touchdowns, no interceptions. So, that was last year. I don't have updated stats on him for this year, but does a nice job of controlling and running this offense.
He does take care of the football extremely well. So 1st and 10. Fuqua in the backfield. He gets the handoff, and he's jammed up by Jordan Lewis and dropped for a 2-yard loss. That was strength against strength right there.
I think anyone who runs into Jordan Lewis is going to get dropped.
Oh.
I mean, really.
He is a big man.
Heck of a play.
That is going to be the end of the 3rd quarter. We've played 3. Southfield A&T leads the Lake Orion Dragons 24-6. If I can find my read sheet. Your 3rd quarter of action has been underwritten by Classic Lanes, your home for family fun and entertainment in Rochester Hills. Their 32-lane facility offers state-of-the-art bowling equipment for both league and recreational bowlers. Check them out at myclassiclanes.com. And we'll also remind you, our scoreboard sponsor for the second half is Lakes Community Credit Union. Lakes Community Credit Union, the not-for-profit institution, has been providing financial services to the Oakland County area since 1937. Give them a call at 248-814-4003 or stop by their location at 350 North Park Boulevard in Lake Orion. We played what had been a back and forth battle. Southfield kind of broke open just with ball control here in the third quarter.
They did, and the big play. Lake Orion's got to find a way to get a stop here this drive. At least hold them to a field goal opportunity, turnover on downs, whatever. Can't afford to get down by 2 scores to Southfield.
We have a second down and 12. The ball is on the 15. Darby in the pistol, takes a handoff. Hands off up the middle. I believe that was Fuqua. Nope, number 33, Leon Franklin on the carry.
Chris Cade up on the stop.
Third down and 6 for the Warriors. From the 9-yard line, they can get a first down without getting a touchdown.
Watch the throw to the slot.
Throws, corner of the end zone, in, touchdown, Southfield A&T.
They threw a little hitch route to number 11, Cameron McEvans.
Yep. And he got right to the pylon, knew where he was, and stopped and just worked toward the pylon, kept great field awareness, and just put it inside for the touchdown. We have a flag. Was it an ineligible downfield?
Interesting. That's takes the points off the board. It's not a dead ball after the play foul, is it?
No.
Huge penalty.
I think it was an ineligible receiver downfield for Southfield. So that backs him up. It's now a third down and 14, or third and 11 from the 14. Darby throws to the end zone, over the head of everybody.
Yeah.
It'll be fourth down.
Good coverage by Marcus Brown on that play. Right in McEvans' back pocket the whole way. Again, Darby's not looking anybody off. It was not going to be completed anyway. Darby threw it outside, way outside the back of the end zone.
So fourth and 11 from the 14. Fuqua in the backfield.
How big would this be for Lake Orion to get a stop?
Darby looking, dodges a tackle, looks, throws, incomplete in the end zone. The Dragons take over. You called it. This was huge.
Yeah. Nice play. Marcus Brown again in on the play. Blitz coming off the edge and low snap. Chris Cade just misses Darby, and Darby still does a nice job of avoiding Marcus Brown right in the hip pocket, right in the back pocket of Saunders Carter, knocks it down. Lake Orion takes over. First and 10 from their own 14. Huge series, especially when we thought Southfield had scored.
Right.
Brought back because of the penalty,
yes,
and took the points off the board. Lake Orion holds.
Yeah, Southfield had scored. Lake Orion went 3-1, and Southfield was marching right down. So Blaze Lauer brings him out. 5 wides for the Dragons. Motion this side. Is that Vestran?
Nice cutback to Brinkat. Jack DeBrincat.
Jack DeBrincat, number 27.
They go 5 wides and they run him across in that jet sweep out of the gun formation. Good cutback behind that block. It's a gain of about 4.
2nd and 6 from the 18.
Again, this is a formation now that to this point in time, Southfield has not seen.
Right.
So they're spreading the defense out horizontally.
Trips to the left. Dylan Frank in motion. He gets the handoff over the 20 to the 21 and dropped. It'll be 3rd down.
Yeah, tripped up by Alan McWhorter, number 26. If Frank beats that tackle, he's still running. Right there at the very end, number 26 comes right in your screen right now, gets off the block, and trips up Frank.
And Dylan Frank comes hobbling off the field.
Once again, it should go without saying, but you can't, Lake Orion can't afford a 3rd and out this time, this series.
So 3rd and 2. We have a stoppage of play on the field, and Lake Orion is going to take a timeout.
Now, Dylan Frank came off the field, Gimpin. They had to substitute for him. They had their empty package out there. It's probably a smart timeout, especially such a big play, 3rd and 2. You got to get this 1st down. Good timeout by the Lake Orion coaching staff.
While we have a timeout, we will tell you again that this presentation is brought to you by the Lake Orion High School video program in partnership with Orion Neighborhood Television. Live streams of games will be available all season long at www.nfhsnetwork.com. 50% of all proceeds go back into the award-winning video program here at Lake Orion High School. Orion Neighborhood Television thanks our student crews for their hard work and dedication in bringing Lake Orion sports to the world. 3rd down and 2 from the 22. One back in the backfield. Sam Kinney is at quarterback. He takes the ball. He's got a 1st down and more. Out to the 35-yard line. A little wildcat.
Hey, it worked, and that's what I'm like to see about Lake Orion's offense and the way they're running it. They're doing some things differently to keep that Southfield defense on their toes, having to think, having to adjust. And Kenny does a nice job, and again, knowing where the sticks are. He's going back into the huddle.
Yeah, he's going to stay in. He brings trips to the right. Dylan Frank, nope, I'm sorry, that's number 24, Isaac Kinney on the carry. He gets about 2.
We see there Austin Finley pulling and trying to find somebody block. He too at that time, it looked like he was going laterally down the line as opposed to turning up field and trying to find someone, and that's forcing Kinney to be able to run east and west as opposed to north and south. We got to get the Lake Orion lineman to turn up field and sustain that block.
Trips left, Twins right. Motion this side. Kenny on the carry. He's met and dropped. Did not or just did get back to the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, I think the mesh point right about here kind of throws the whole playoff to start with. Couldn't decide if he wanted to keep it and to give it to Brinkat or not, or keep it himself. And by that time, the Southfield defense had closed the gap, if you will, and held him for no gain.
3rd down and 8 from the 38. Kenny stays in at quarterback. He's in the gun. That Blaze back in. Blaze is back in. Dead ball. Procedure against the Dragons, and that one hurts. You're in a 3rd and long as it is. So it's 3rd and 13. Dragons line up, trips to the left, twins to the right. Lauer throws, incomplete, thrown just behind Drew Van Heck.
Yeah, if number 26, Alan McWhorter's in press coverage on Van Heck on that slant route, and if Lauer puts that ball just out in front of him a touch more, he might have a seam and might keep going. It's a tough window to throw that ball, and the linebacker was also dropping back to that pass zone as well. But ended up on the ground, forcing Lake Orion to have to punt.
Parker Blust into punt. End over end kick. Takes a Lake Orion bounce down to the 36-yard line, where Southfield to take over 1st and 10. Last couple series, I forgot all about charting plays. It's just once again, Larry Buss and the crew at Jets Pizza, located at 1091 South Lapeer Road, have been a proud supporter of Orion Neighborhood Television and Dragon Athletics since 2009. Jets supplies catering for cast and crew. Thank you, Larry, for your continued support. Give them a call at 248-814-7559. Darby, hands off inside. Fuqua goes nowhere.
Kenny and Marcoux in on the stop.
May have lost a yard.
Got to get a 3 and out. Got to get the ball back. Got to force a fumble. Got to force an interception, whatever it might be. Got to get the ball back, Lake Orion.
Fuqua stays in the backfield with Darby.
Who's going to be that playmaker on defense?
Darby going deep, overthrows everybody. Intended for number 11, Cameron McEvans.
That slot receiver there just ran a seam route right down the seam, and for a split second got on top of the Lake Orion defense, but that ball was thrown about 7 to 10 yards over his head.
John Haggett checks in at one of the wide receiver spots, or one of the safety spots. Getting the speed in the backfield. Darby looks, trapped, trying to get away.
Backside pressure, where is it? Boy, almost had it, boy.
And incomplete.
I thought
And a flag comes down late.
It's going to be grounding. It's going to be grounding. There was no receiver in that area whatsoever. Boy, Isaac Kinney had backside pressure. I thought he was going to get John Darby. He's so elusive, so elusive. And how he senses that pressure is beyond me.
Intentional grounding, loss it down.
That's a good series by the Dragons.
That was a good defensive stand, yes.
Look at Isaac Kinney coming off the edge here, not giving up. Look at that effort. Even 51 looks like he's even holding him right there. And you got Sam Kinney, his brother, and Jordan Lewis.
He threw it behind the sticks. The ball did not make it back to the line of scrimmage. Short kick, takes a Southfield bounce out of bounds. On about, they're going to call it on the Dragon 45. Let's see where they spot it.
40? There's no way.
Well, as soon as the ball went out of bounds, the Dragons started forming up their huddle around it. And yeah, they're going to mark it on the 40.
Wow.
So the Dragons take over 1st and 10 on their own 40. Spread formation. Blaze Lauer up the middle. Got open field in front of him. Down to the 20, the 10. Touchdown Lake Orion Dragons.
At about the 40-yard line. There's two different penalties in the play. There's a hole,
down on the 40, that looks like somebody's towel.
No, it's a flag. On the 40 on the sideline here.
Okay.
And Lake Orion sideline, there's a hold here.
Holding Lake Orion. It's coming back.
Boy, what a great play call. Spread the field. Run Blaze Lauer on a quarterback draw. We've got 2 penalties in the play, though. Coach Blackstock's out talking to the side judge over here about what happened near the Lake Orion sideline. That has not been signaled as of yet.
Let's see what they're going to call. No. The line judge just put his flag away.
What a play call. There was absolutely nobody in the middle of the field. And tell you what, I'm going to keep saying it this year, and I'll probably say it next year and the year after. But I think Blaze's parents called him that for a reason. The kid's got some speed.
And, you know, you can coach quarterbacking technique. You can coach release point. You can't coach speed.
That was a sideline warning over here.
Well, you know, after the last play when the Southfield punt went out of bounds, I thought that they were encroaching on the sideline a little more than what they're comfortable with. That white stripe on the sideline belongs to the officials. Blaze Lauer up the middle, up to the 40. He gets the penalty yardage back. And we got flags going all over the place.
Getting awful
There's some
chippy.
pushing and shoving, and the only guy who hadn't thrown a flag is now thrown a flag. I think we're going to have some offsetting unsportsmanlikes.
It's getting awful chippy. It got awful chippy last week, Lake Orion at Troy Athens, and got a couple players ejected from both sides last week. There's been a lot of penalties thrown tonight.
There are more flags on the field than there are officials to throw them. We have 6 flags on the field and 5 officials.
Lauer on the keeper up the middle does a nice job of finding the hole. And Lauer's down. And then Matthew Mercier and number 94 from the Warriors, Dwayne Harris, are still going at it. And then some other guys got into the foray as well. And as you see, it's pink out night, but on that field right now, it's yellow out.
Yeah. So the officials are huddled together trying to decide who has what.
There were so many guys pushing, shoving, and
I hope they're not deciding if there's ejections, because I don't think there was enough shown in there to warrant an ejection. Pushing and shoving, yes. So let's see, here's the call. Unsportsmanlike conduct, Lake Orion. Unsportsmanlike conduct. And they just gave an ejection signal, but I don't know against who. So it's offsetting unsportsmanlike conducts.
it's one of those times where in high school football you wish you had the officials mic'd up.
Well, they had him mic'd up at West Bloomfield last Friday night against Clarkston.
Like I said earlier, the officials have really gotten their work in tonight. They have thrown.
Gus Hughes is talking to Coach Blackstock.
Thrown a number of penalties tonight. There's at least 12 on Lake Orion tonight. They averaged 9 penalties coming into the game.
We have 5:31 left in the game. Dragons trying to come back to tie the game up. Coach Blackstock is not happy with something out there.
All that to say it's Doug, it's 1st and 20.
It is 2nd down and 14 on the 36.
Okay. I'm sorry. I was looking at the scoreboard as opposed to the field.
It takes a while to get these things sorted out.
Well, I don't know that it should take this long. These officials have conferred
longer than usual.
Yes. You're gonna need an extra DVD for this one here.
Yeah, well, DVD copies can be purchased by calling Orion Neighborhood Television at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. For only $10, you can get a copy of not only this game, but any game or program in our broadcast vault. That's DVD copies at 248-693-3377 or 248-393-1060. And throughout that read, they still haven't got everything settled down. So let's see where we stand. They're marching the ball back to the 30-yard line. It is now 1st down and 20. On the Lake Orion sideline is about 6,000 other referees who don't really agree with that call. Lauer up the middle, and he's going down after a loss of 2. It's going to be 2nd down and 22 from the 28-yard line.
Yeah, nobody touched Javante Van Buren, the linebacker, number 10, from the top of the screen there, and you got to block him. I mean, it's as simple as that, and you don't, those things happen.
So 2nd down, trips to the right, twins to the left. Motion this side. Blaze Lauer up the middle, breaks a tackle, cuts outside, up over the 40, and up to the 44-yard line and another flag.
Yep. It's a sideline warning. This one will be actually enforced because this is the second warning. Side judge over here ran into one of the Lake Orion coaches.
That is something that the coaches have to work on. You know, the crowd is not agreeing with it, but it had to happen.
As the official is running with the play happening downfield on the Lauer run, he's running and he ran into one of the Lake Orion coaches, and they were already warned within this last drive, this same drive, excuse me. And
usually there, and I think it is Tyler Mishak is working as the sideline coach. Lauer rolls right, looks, throws, tipped by number 26, Alan McWhorter. And do we have another flag?
we do. Every single play for the last 5 plays in a row, there has been a penalty.
There's a flag in the dead ball, unsportsmanlike conduct against Lake Orion on the coaches. And this is where Coach Blackstock has got to take control and say, look, I will talk to the officials. And you got to be careful because 2 unsportsmanlike penalties and you're watching the game from the bus. And I don't know who that was on.
4th and 26, they've got to punt the ball. There's plenty of time left in this game, but you can't keep kicking yourselves in the foot.
4th and 26, Parker Blust is on to kick. Flag is hanging limp. There is no wind out there. And whistles.
Delay of game.
Delay a game. Wow. So that'll march them back another 5. It'll be 4th down and 31. The Dragons have to get to midfield to get a first down. Snap back to Blust. Puts a foot into a nice high kick. That hit his foot. That looked like it hit Brent Johnson. It took a funny bounce.
I will say this about that last series. Southfield A&T didn't do one thing that series.
No.
To disrupt Lake Orion's drive. That was all Lake Orion. Again, kicking themselves in their own foot and getting themselves put in that position there. And it just, as a coach, you look and it's just unacceptable. You can't allow those things to happen if you want to win football games in the OAA Red.
So 1st and 10 for Southfield A&T, 4:11 left in the game. Southfield's up by 8. Come out with a trips formation to the left and an I formation in the backfield. Fuqua on the run. Over the 35 out to the 38. It'll be 2nd down and 7.
Marcus Brown comes from his defensive back spot to make a tackle on Fuqua there.
Watch it come down. Boy,
just
it hit close, yeah.
Just
did
in front.
not hit his foot.
Parker punts that ball so high, it's difficult with this lighting to be able to pick
Yes.
that ball up.
So 2nd and 7. And a delay of game against Southfield. So that'll back them up 5. It'll make it 2nd and 12.
I've been around a lot of football games, but I don't know that I've seen as many flags I've seen thrown tonight on either team. I really don't.
Let's go down the sidelines to Kevin McCormick. Kev?
Yeah, guys, just some real questionable refereeing down here on the field. There was a blatant helmet-to-helmet hit on Blaze Lauer on the last series that didn't get called, but then they called unsportsmanlike conduct on one of the coaches for being on the field and trying to bring that to their attention. Previously, the big fight, they didn't really identify who was involved in the fight. They called offsetting penalties on both teams and then moved the ball back 10 yards beyond where it should have been. And then the touchdown by Blaze Lauer, there was a holding call, but nobody really seemed to have been able to see the holding. So just a lot of questionable calls by the referee tonight, and it's really taken the energy and the momentum out of this Lake Orion team because these men out here are fighting really hard tonight. Back to you.
All right, 3rd down and 9 for Southfield from the 36. Darby back, got some room to run. Caught and dropped at the 40. Headed by number 22, Sam Perillo. And we have another stoppage of play. Timeout, Lake Orion.
Boy, that's a big stop. That's a big stop on an open field, in the open field, on an athlete like by John Darby. And boy, it looked like as he scrambled out of the pocket, he was going to be able to get the first down. And Del Otero and was it Dolan? Perillo did a nice job of closing the gap and preventing the first down. 4th and 5. This is a tough decision too. If yourself, if they don't, their special teams units aren't
good,
aren't solid, and so, but at the same time, do you want to go for it on your side of the field?
Well, you're 4th and 5, and that's a lot of ground to make up. We have to give a quick shout out to the 3rd member of our press box group tonight. Amanda Porton is running the scoreboard, making everything look good for us, doing a nice job. Getting our calls down to the truck when we'd rather they not go out over the air. Amanda, one of our high school volunteers. So Southfield is making up their mind, and 4 of the Lake Orion coaches are out on the field.
Don't jump off sides. Don't flinch. Don't flinch. The hard count's been good all night for Southfield.
4th and 5. Jordan Lewis doing a great job, and I think that's what he was screaming out to his defensive teammates. Don't flinch. Great job.
It's one of those situations there where you know, it's do you take the timeout or you take the delay of game? You know, knowing that at this point in juncture of the game, those timeouts are so crucial. They've only got 1 timeout left.
For Southfield, knowing that their special teams are a weakness, you can't afford another 5 yards if you have a suspect punting game.
They're in punt formation, but don't think that they can't try to flinch or get them to jump off sides on a hard count.
Yeah. So 4th and 5.
Time to make a play. Time to make a play on special teams here.
Dragons showing rush. High snap. Gets the kick away. Taken by Freeman on the 26. Coming left.
Stay up.
Stay up on his feet. And dropped around the 30. Just couldn't get his wall set up. going to the left. So the Dragons take over. 1st and 10 from their 30, 2:07 left in the game. Each team has 1 timeout left.
If you said you're down 8 with 2:07 to go in the 4th quarter, I think you'd be happy if you're Lake Orion.
Yeah.
You got an opportunity. You got a chance. That's all you can ask for.
They have moved the ball tonight. That being said, we saw Dylan Frank come up hobbled. Kobe Manzo has been out with an ankle. Here's where the rest of the squad has to pick it up. Lauer drops back, looks, throws. Too hard, intended for Tyler Vestrand. Brings up 2nd down.
Trying to run a little screen play. And
here's Blaze Lauer on that touchdown up the middle that was called back. And we said, you just can't get speed like that. Lauer on a draw. Vestrand up the middle. Up to the 39. Dragons have to hurry it up now.
again, that's one of the challenges with getting the play calls from the sideline is having to come over here when you've got 1 timeout left and the clock's only still going.
Inside handoff, 1st down and a flag. Let's check the call out. It was thrown by the head linesman against number 51.
Boy, 3rd and 1, and that happens for 10 yards. That's tough. Those are tough to swallow. I've got 9 Lake Orion penalties this half alone for a total of 16 in the game.
Wow.
It's tough to win football games that way.
It is tough. Trips to the right, Twins to the left. Lauer rolling left. Looks, throws, intercepted. Intercepted by number 26, Alan McWhorter. And that may have put the nail in it.
I think Lauer's rolling out, and he's just trying to make something happen and trying to thread that through. McWhorter just does a nice job of stepping right into the passing lane. And ball intended for Van Heck, and yeah, I think you're right, Doug. One timeout on each side. Dragons got 1 timeout, 1:24 left to go here in the 4th.
Good job going vertical by McWhorter. He went up a long way to get that ball. So 1:24 left. Southfield comes out, Twins right, single wide out left. Handoff to Fuqua, up the middle, gets a gain of about 3. And here's where Darby does a good job of managing the game.
Lake Orion can't stop it anymore.
Lake Orion's taking their final timeout.
Well, we'll talk certainly about it post-game, but, you know, each and every week is despite what looks like a loss at this point in time, each and every week continues to be another step up that rung to progress. And you know, the ability to build on what they've done. The last 2 halves, the game against Troy Athens last week, the game this week, obviously, the first halves have been solid first halves.
Yeah.
What has not happened is a solid second half in each of these last 2 weeks, and that has been the differential. Last week they were up by so much that it didn't really matter, but tonight was a huge difference. Defense, for the most part, played pretty well, and but you know, it's all said and done. Number 1 for the Warriors, I think, was a difference maker.
To Fuqua up the middle. keeps the legs churning. The clock keeps running, a minute left here in the game. Dragons go on the road next week to Bloomfield Hills, and that's going to be a test for them as well.
Yeah, Bloomfield Hills started out 2-0, and they've since lost 2 in a row, but certainly they beat West Bloomfield, and we saw what West Bloomfield could do. So they're certainly a good football team. They got some good athletes, a really good quarterback, and a really good wide receiver that are their stars, if you will.
30 seconds left. This should be the last play of the game. Fuqua up the middle. He stopped for maybe a yard gain. Under 25 seconds. The officials have just let the clock run. And the final seconds tick off. Your final score will be the Southfield A&T Warriors 24, the Lake Orion Dragons 16. You're watching exclusive coverage of Lake Orion Dragon football here on Orion Neighborhood Television. We'll be right back.
The United States Air Force has a proud history of leading our nation in embracing diversity. We've been reaching new heights for years by understanding it's our individual experiences which make us strong. You can share in this success by seeking opportunities to learn and grow as a member of a diverse team. We are the world's greatest Air Force, not because of what we do, but who we are. This message is brought to you by the U.S. Air Force.
thank you for joining us this evening here for this memorable event. We look forward to seeing you again in 4 weeks when the Varsity Dragons host their final regular season game. It's the OAA crossover and homecoming. As you head home, be safe, obey the traffic laws, don't let that phone distract you, and remember to drive as though your family is in the other vehicle. Thank you, and good night.
.416.
Down on the field after a hard-fought defeat, if there is such a thing. 24-16, the Southfield A&T Warriors beat the Lake Orion Dragons. Chris, we try to search for words to explain the game. You don't want to use the word sloppy, but it was a sloppy penalty-filled game, really on both sides.
On both sides of the football, it was. In particular, that second half, it was 16-16 at halftime, and obviously with the score, you know, Southfield scored a touchdown on the two-point conversion just to put 8 points on the board. For my calculations, Lake Orion had 9 penalties in the second half alone, and so you're right, it was sloppy. And as I alluded to at the earlier, the last 2 weeks have been sloppy for Lake Orion. They've put together some good first half. You know, some of our keys to the game tonight were prevent the big play. Well, Southfield got 2 of their touchdowns on big plays, a 39-yard touchdown pass and a 63-yard touchdown pass. And offensively, you know, Lake Orion scored their 2 touchdowns. The second key of our game was sustain drives and then convert those drives into points, and they did that. But what they didn't do in the second half is continue to sustain drives, and as a result, they don't put points on the board, and as a result, they walk out of here with a loss.
You look at both quarterbacks tonight. Blaze Lauer, I thought, played outstanding. He had a long touchdown run called back. but he managed the game well, handing the ball. It didn't help that he lost his top 2 running backs in the first half. But on the other hand, John Darby was a true game manager. He never let the game get out of his grasp all night long.
You know, and he's a senior, and John Darby is, and Blaze Lauer is a sophomore. So we've got some time for growth there. I can, you know, it's hard to project what's going to go down in the future, but I can see a kid like Blaze Lauer becoming a kid like John Darby, and because Darby did a nice job of, again, like you said, running the offense, being very poised back there, very composed, feeling pressure. I think Blaze is doing that in his own way as a sophomore. So there's a tremendous upside by number 2, and he'll be blazing into the end zone more times than not over the course of his career.
We're going to he's
Yes,
blazing a lot in the coming years. Next week, it's on the road to Bloomfield. They started out very well, ran into a juggernaut last week, and should be a good football game.
Should be a good football game. They've got a quarterback that can sling it. He's going to go play at a MAC school. They've got a wide receiver who's catching balls left and right, and they've got a decent football team. They had a good season last year, and then they moved up in the red this year, and they've given a number of teams in the red all they can handle. So it will be a tough game next week for Lake Orion. Going on the road, it's difficult. So we've got to find a way to be a little bit more disciplined moving forward. It was that way in the second half. I keep referring to these second halves the last 2 weeks. It was a sloppy game in the second half last week. It was a sloppy game in the second half this week, and got to try to find a way to finish football games.
Just looking to see, I don't think we're going to find Coach Blackstock tonight. It is kind of a mob scene out here. They had the pink out festivities after the game. So, with that all being said, our final score tonight is the Southfield A&T Warriors 24, the Lake Orion Dragons 16. For our producer, Ian Locke, our director, John Atwater, Tessa Bratton running around making sure everybody's doing what they should be doing, my broadcast partner, Chris Fritching, and for our kid in the booth, Tara Fritching, I'm Doug Corliss. Thank you for watching. Good night, everyone.